Some people go backpacking for enlightenment, others seek adventure. I, apparently, seek out new and exciting ways to challenge my digestive system. So, there I was, planning a whirlwind week across Asia. A brilliant thought struck me. Why not eat only street food for the entire 7 days? Genius, right? Absolutely nothing could go wrong with that plan. My doctor would surely applaud such a commitment to authentic travel experiences. My stomach, however, was probably already composing its letter of resignation. But the call of the wild, or rather the call of the wok, was too strong to ignore. This was going to be an adventure. Or a terrible mistake, probably both. The rules were simple: no restaurants, no hotel breakfasts unless they were cooked on a cart outside, no familiar Western chains no matter how desperate I became, only food prepared and sold by vendors on the bustling streets, in crowded markets, or down dimly lit alleyways. This wasn't just about saving a few bucks, though that was a delightful, if secondary, perk. This was about diving headfirst into the true flavor of Asia. I wanted the grit, the grime, the glory. I wanted to taste things I couldn't pronounce. My friends back home thought I was insane. They were probably right, but insanity often tastes surprisingly good. My backpack was light. My appetite, enormous. Let the games and the potential gastrointestinal distress begin. My grand experiment kicked off in Bangkok. The city hit me like a wave of heat, humidity, and the intoxicating aroma of, well, everything. Lemongrass, chili, grilling meat, exhaust fumes, a symphony for the nostrils. The street food scene here wasn't just vibrant, it was a living, breathing organism. Carts lined every soy, vendors shouted their offerings, and the sizzle of oil was a constant soundtrack. My first meal, pad see ew, wide rice noodles, Chinese broccoli, egg, and some sort of protein, all stir-fried in a searing hot wok right before my eyes. It was greasy, it was smoky, it was utterly divine. This street food thing? Maybe not so crazy after all, famous last words perhaps. Then came the more adventurous options. Bangkok is notorious for its insect carts, deep-fried crickets, bamboo worms, water beetles, you name it, they fry it. And of course I had to try them. For science, for the experience, for the sheer unadulterated weirdness of it all. The crickets were surprisingly nutty, like crunchy, savory popcorn. The bamboo worms? A bit like puffed rice if puffed rice had legs. The water beetles, however, were a textural challenge I wasn't quite prepared for. Crunchy on the outside, a bit gooey on the inside. Let's just say it was an acquired taste I hadn't yet acquired. Next stop, Hanoi, Vietnam. If Bangkok was a sprawling food festival, Hanoi was an intimate, chaotic dinner party held on the pavement. The old quarter, a maze of narrow streets, was a street food lover's dream, or perhaps a mild anxiety attack waiting to happen. Tiny plastic stools, barely knee-high, spilled out from shop fronts onto the already crowded sidewalks. Motorbikes whizzed past, mere inches from your bowl of pho. It was an exercise in balance, both culinary and physical. Eating here wasn't just a meal, it was an immersive, slightly perilous experience, and I was all in, obviously. Pho, of course, was a priority. The iconic Vietnamese noodle soup. I found a stall run by a woman who looked like she'd been simmering broth since the dawn of time. The aroma alone was intoxicating. Rich, beefy, fragrant with star anise, cinnamon, and cardamom. She ladled the steaming liquid over a bed of rice noodles, topped it with thin slices of beef, fresh herbs, and a squeeze of lime. Sitting on my tiny blue stool, slurping those noodles amidst the urban symphony of honking horns and chattering locals, I felt like I'd found the heart of Hanoi. After the charming chaos of Hanoi, I jetted off to Penang, Malaysia, often hailed as one of the world's top street food destinations. My expectations were sky high. And let me tell you, Penang did not disappoint. It wasn't just street food, it was an institution. Hawker centers, sprawling open-air complexes filled with dozens, sometimes hundreds of individual stalls were the name of the game. The air thrummed with the clatter of woks, the sizzle of grills, and the shouts of vendors hawking their specialties. It was a culinary battlefield, and my stomach was ready for war. A delicious, flavorful war. The diversity was mind-boggling. Char kway teow, flat rice noodles stir-fried with shrimp, cockles, bean sprouts, and Chinese sausage in a dark, sweet soy sauce, cooked over an impossibly hot flame. The wok, or breath of the wok, was essential. Assam laksa, a tangy fish-based noodle soup with a tamarind broth, pungent and utterly addictive. Hokkien mee, a rich prawn and pork noodle soup. Nasi lemak, fragrant coconut rice served with spicy sambal, fried anchovies, peanuts, and a hard-boiled egg. Section 5. The Mystery Meat Chronicles. What exactly am I eating? Let's be honest. Part of the thrill of street food is the element of surprise, especially when you don't speak the local language. And you're pointing at something sizzling on a grill that could, quite frankly, be anything. This week was filled with such moments of culinary roulette. I'd point, smile, hand over some cash, and receive a skewer, a bowl, or a leaf-wrapped parcel of something. Sometimes it was familiar. Chicken, pork, beef-ish. Other times it was a delightful guessing game. A game my stomach wasn't always thrilled to play, but my adventurous spirit lapped up. There was the incident in a dimly lit alley in what I was, Kuala Lumpur, though my memory is a bit hazy, possibly due to a subsequent food coma. A vendor was grilling small, unidentifiable cubes of meat. They smelled incredible. Smoky, spicy, slightly sweet. I bought a skewer, took a bite. It was tender, it was flavorful, it was... what was it? Not chicken, too dark, not beef, too soft. I asked the vendor using my best charades. He just grinned, pointed at a picture of well, it looked like a very large rodent. Section 6. When street food bites back, a gut-wrenching saga. Ah, the inevitable downside. The dark underbelly of my glorious street food quest. Let's call it the Revenge of the Rogue Samosa, or perhaps the Ballad of the Bad Banh Mi. Because, let's face it, when you're eating exclusively from street stalls, sometimes, just sometimes, your digestive system decides to stage a rather dramatic protest. It's not a matter of, but, and for me, it happened somewhere between a questionable plate of noodles in Chiang Mai and a very spicy curry in southern India. Okay, I know I said Asia, but my stomach doesn't respect geographical food tour boundaries when recounting past woes. My week-long adventure had its moments of internal rebellion. It usually started with a low rumble, a gurgle, a feeling that something was amiss. Then came the sprints, the desperate searches for a semi-clean public toilet, or in dire circumstances, any toilet, or even something vaguely resembling a toilet. I became an unwilling connoisseur of bathroom facilities across multiple countries. Some were surprisingly modern, others were, well, let's just say they added to the authentic experience. My trusty pack of Imodium became my best friend, my constant companion. We shared some intimate, urgent moments together. Good times. Sort of. The culprits were varied. Section 7. Sweet surrender, finding sugary bliss in unexpected places. It wasn't all savory skewers and spicy soups, you know. My week of street food feasting also included a delightful dive into the world of Asian street desserts. And let me tell you, the creativity and deliciousness on display were astounding. Forget your fancy patisseries. The real sweet action was happening on the sidewalks, under flickering fluorescent lights, served up by vendors with a knack for turning simple ingredients into pure sugary joy. My sweet tooth, which is considerable, was in absolute heaven, or at least a very happy, slightly sticky state of bliss. In Thailand there was the aforementioned mango sticky rice. Glutinous rice steamed with coconut milk, served with slices of perfectly ripe mango and a drizzle of sweet coconut cream. Simple, elegant, addictive. Section 8. Beyond the food stall, a deeper dive into local life. This week-long street food binge wasn't just about stuffing my face, though that was a significant and highly enjoyable component. It was also an incredible way to connect with the local culture on a deeper level. Eating on the street, you're not insulated in a tourist bubble. You're right there in the thick of it. You're sharing a tiny plastic table with a family on their way home from work. You're watching kids play while their parents grab a quick bite. You're observing the daily rhythms of life in a way you simply can't from the window of a tour bus or the dining room of a fancy hotel. The interactions with the vendors themselves were often a highlight. Even with language barriers, a smile, a nod, an appreciative sound goes a long way. I learned to say thank you and delicious in several languages. Section 9. The verdict. Was a week of pavement picnics worth it? So, after 7 days, countless unidentifiable skewers, a few close calls with my digestive tract, and an expanded waistline, what's the final word? Was this week of exclusively street-side sustenance a triumph or a tragedy? Well, like most good adventures, it was a bit of both. There were moments of pure, unadulterated culinary ecstasy, flavors so vibrant, so complex, they made my taste buds sing opera. There were also moments when I seriously questioned my life choices, usually while hunched over a less-than-sparkling toilet, but regrets? Absolutely none. Well, maybe that third helping of durian. That was ambitious. The benefits were clear. Firstly, the food itself. Street food is often the most authentic, most flavorful and most interesting food a country has to offer. It's cooked with passion, with tradition, and with an unapologetic embrace of local ingredients. Secondly, the price. My wallet was significantly happier than if I'd been dining in restaurants every night. This allowed me to try more, to be more adventurous without breaking the bank. And thirdly, the immersion. As I've said, it's an unparalleled way to connect with the local culture, to see a place from the inside out, rather than as a detached observer. It makes travel richer, more memorable. The drawbacks? Well, hygiene can be a gamble. You're putting a lot of faith in that vendor's hand-washing habits, or lack thereof. Comfort is also not a priority.